I wish I was a child again. I wish I was. When I was a child, happy to be alive. Before the evil days took away the youthful prize. When I was a child, they gave me no time. When I went astray, they put me back in line, back in line. I wish I was a child again, free and wild again, always climbing and inspiring. I wish I was a child again, a child again, child again. Let me swing on a limb, there I talk with my invisible friend, climbing a tree, swimming in the sea. The best things in life are always free. The best things in life are always free. The best things in life are always free. I wish I was a child again, free and wild again, always climbing and inspiring. I wish I was a child again, a child again, child again. Tell me it's okay to go out and play with the children of the day, with their magic height, basking in the light, taking flight, taking flight. I wish I was a child again, free and wild again, always climbing and inspiring. I wish I was a child again, child again, child again. I wish I was a child again. I wish I was child again, child again. Child again, child again.
Taste buds ready because Taste of Cayman is back. Join us May 13th at Festival Green, Camana Bay. Eat, drink, and dance the night away. Taste of Cayman offers the very best of Cayman's food and drink scene with plenty of music to keep the party going. Get your festival tickets online today at tasteofcayman.org or call 623-6700. Brought to you by the Cayman Islands Tourism Association and sponsored by AI Rentals, Camana Bay, DMS Broadcasting, and numerous valued partners.
Real life, real topics. Welcome to Cayman Conversations, now streaming on Caymanian Times, Facebook, and YouTube channel, and also live on Bobo FM 89.1. Our first conversation will be with a leader and deputy leader of the opposition as they talk about their plans for the next elections and also topical issues affecting the Cayman Islands. Our second conversation turns the spotlight on Taste of Cayman. I'll be speaking with J.A. Hurt and Natalie Thompson about the upcoming Taste of Cayman event, key activities, details, and special appearances. Now let's get started with our first conversation with the Progressives. Good afternoon and welcome to Cayman Conversations. Today it is my distinct pleasure to welcome the Honorable Roy McTaggart and Mr. Honorable Joseph Hugh. And as you know, they are the leader of the opposition and deputy leader of the opposition. Good afternoon, gentlemen, and welcome to Cayman Conversations.
Good afternoon, Ralph. Thank you for inviting us to be with you. Delighted to be here.
Good afternoon, and certainly a pleasure to be here and to finally get an opportunity to sit with you on your show.
Excellent. I hope that we will have a lot more of these shows, and because we have so much to talk about. But
Absolutely.
We're going to keep it, nice and short and sweet today, and we can start off with a few questions that's been on my mind and topical issues, as we've been calling them. And one thing that I keep noticing every time I drive down Elstree Tibbetts Highway is that big mountain. They call it Mount Rushmore at one point and called the waste management, or it's referred to as Regen. And recently there was some explanation or clarifications by the government and that about the project. Can you say something about the project, Mr. Hugh?
Yeah, thank you. Yes, that is smack dab in the middle of my constituency, and I live right in the neighborhood. So not only can we see it, we can hear it, we can smell it all day long, and it has become quite concerning for several reasons. The obvious reason that we have not seen any progress on the Regen contract signing, or even getting to the financial close on that contract. And I know that the honorable leader has a parliamentary question in for the session of the House, asking for an update, which was promised for late last year, then was promised again for earlier this year, and still we have heard no more. And then the other thing about it is that we know that the current tipping site, as we call it, had a very short lifespan. We were told 4 years ago that it had a 2 to 5 year lifespan if managed properly. And that is if it's compacted, layered, and then compacted at least every 24 to 48 hours. So, that takes us into our next concerns. Obviously, we know that they're going to run out of space there quite quickly. And then where are they going to continue to tip? I mean, they're just growing closer and closer to the road, and they're going to run out of space there very soon. And then further to that, if the Department of Environmental Health are not being given the proper equipment in order to manage that landfill, in order to layer it with material, preferably a limestone material, but to layer it, compact it, and layer it, continue that way to keep the gases out of that landfill and to mitigate any opportunities for fires like we've seen in the past. That is posing a huge health risk to the persons working at the landfill, and of course to everyone within that landfill. The last large fire was on the old landfill that has now been capped, and that fire just about jumped the street on the Elstree Tibbetts Highway. So imagine this one is several hundred yards closer to the highway, and we can only imagine that the kind of smoke and the possibilities of fires jumping that highway and reaching the many residential areas there. And a lot of people quickly say, DART, Cayman Bay shouldn't have been built there, etc. But Marbell Drive has been there forever. Parkway has been there forever. Watlers Road has been there forever. All the way down to Kintyre, and even the new Jasmine facility that's there. They're going to be tremendously impacted should we have another large fire like that. So these are the things that have really brought concern to not only to us as an opposition, but certainly to myself as the representative for Georgetown North and for the neighborhood surrounding it.
Ralph, to that, if I might add to what Joey has said, the fact now that we are so late in getting this project off the ground, in fact, they're having to continue to store and build up waste, another mound of waste, taking up further valuable land for, there is going to be an additional cost there as well for capping it, because it too has to be capped. I don't think we're anticipating that was going to be there. I know we weren't, that was going to have to be there, but that's going to have to be dealt with as well. It's going to, again, I'm assuming too that's one of the features that is driving up the cost of this as well, because I know, the last that I heard, the cost to cap what the major mound of Mount Trashmore was something like $14 to $15 million. So there's many millions more to come to cap that second mound that's being built there.
And so realistically, I know we've been trying to get this project done or move forward. You're not hearing the information that you need to feel confident that something is being done. And so do you think it's going to be done sometime soon? Do you get a feeling that something is happening now, or they're just trying to finalize what the reports are going to be, or what the comments are, or what the response is going to be? Do you get a sense that there's what is working in the background on fixing this matter?
I personally, Ralph, I don't have that confidence that all of these negotiations are taking place. I certainly haven't heard of anything, and you just meet a stone wall of silence on this project.
Ralph, one of this is probably the largest environmental disaster within our three islands. And in fact, the landfills in our three islands are our largest environmental disaster. You can take a walk yourself if you want to. On the community chat groups just this weekend, people are complaining about the sludge that's coming across the street into the dike roads from the dike road adjacent to the landfill. And this is partially in because they are pumping constantly, A, because it's not being layered and compacted, but B, because they're constantly having to pump water over the landfill to keep fires at bay, and that water is just leaching right back into the dike road. It's coming across the street with the currents through the culverts, and it's creeping right into all of the residential communities along that Esther Tibbetts Highway. But to answer your question, they continue to say, and we continue to hear, that negotiations are progressing. What we do believe has happened, and we can only go by rumors, but what we do believe has happened is that they've changed the scope of the project by quite a bit. And I think this is why we're hearing about the new numbers, the new price tag that you heard the former Minister of Finance speak about a few weeks ago when he resigned or when he was removed from the government. It's unclear which way it was. But I do believe that they have changed the scope of the contract, and this is what has been delaying and driving up the cost on this project. And if the Premier would come out and say that, if he would come out and say, I'm not happy with the land swap deal, I'm renegotiating that, or if he would say, I'm not happy with it being done in phases, I want Little Cayman and Cayman Brac to be included as well, whatever the reasons that they're delaying the project, then let the public know so we at least understand what is happening. But we are concerned that we're not seeing enough, we're not hearing enough. And even on the physical landfill that's there right now, we know, if they even sign a contract this summer, Ralph, we're 3 to 5 years away from this waste energy facility. Yes. What are we going to do? What are we going to do with the landfill? The only answer we've heard from the Honorable Premier thus far is to encourage people to recycle and use less waste, but that is not a practical answer. That's just simply, I wish the same thing, but that's just not going to happen. So we have to prepare for the inevitable, that we're going to run out of space there, and we haven't even started that discussion. So there's so many questions to be answered.
Well, I know there's a lot of juggling that has to happen. There are many balls right now in the hand. And my concern is what priority has this project taken, whether it's number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. And it's something that I'm sure that the question that you're asking in Parliament this week will probably give you some indication as what priority is placed on the remediation of that, and that. So we can only hope for the best. And Roy, your final words on this topic.
Well, I think I hope that I'm wrong in my assessment, and I hope that there is progress being made. It remains to be seen. Either way, as Joey has mentioned, we need to know, and the country deserves to know, because what we see is a looming disaster. And this, given the Premier's credentials as an environmentalist, I would have thought this would have been way at the top of his agenda, because it is of such significance to the overall well-being and environmental well-being of the country. This is something he could have gotten much kudos for, but the opportunity is being squandered by his inaction and his inability to bring this matter to a conclusion and get the project off the ground.
Well, we hope that something happens soon. It's important.
We hope that something positive happens soon, and we hope that we're all wrong about all of the potential for disasters that we see there, including the risk of health and life of the members of the Department of Environmental Health who are working in the conditions that we see, that you can see as a layman. Anyone can look from the road and see that it's not being managed properly.
Yes. Yeah. All right. Well, the next question, next topic that I want to discuss is the recent cabinet reshuffle. Mr. Joey, you mentioned that you wasn't sure whether it was a resignation or dismissal, but it really shook up the country. We thought things were going well. We were seeing some good financial reports. The performance of the government was looking very positive, and we got some kudos in a sort of way before this event happened. And then we heard that it was because of a disagreement between, or some rift between the former governor and the deputy premier, former deputy premier. And then we heard it was not that, it was something else. But it was clear that something happened. And so, being senior members in your party, when this sort of thing happens in a party, what impact does it have on the government of the day or the party in power? And Joe, you can ask that question, please.
Sure. I think that if you see this sort of thing happen within the party, it is pretty clear whether the person resigns and walks the floor, or whether it's simply a reshuffling. Sometimes, as has happened to us in the past, Ralph, you have personalities clashing, etc., within a ministry, and you will have to move ministers around or move subjects around with the ministers. But this sort of abrupt removal of a cabinet member, not just a cabinet member, but your minister of finance and your deputy premier, it shows a huge amount of uncertainty and lack of stability within the government. I mean, this is at the very, very top. And to date, we cannot actually get a proper reason for why he was so abruptly removed or why he abruptly resigned. One party is saying he resigned, other party is saying, or group is saying that he did not resign, but was asked to leave or was removed as the minister, and deputy premier. So again, you're absolutely right. This is not good for the country. There are rumors just whirling all over the place. I think it's fair to say, and I'm not exaggerating, but this is the lowest that investor confidence has been in our country in a very, very long time. People are concerned. People are considering what their next moves are, whether to invest, not to invest. I think when we see, I can tell you, when we see the next report on planning applications and revenues, it will not be as stellar as it has been over the last several years.
And to take that just a little bit further too, Ralph, our analysis shows us from the government's 2022 figures that that, revenue from development and land transactions is down 10% from last year. It seems to me that there is a marked slowdown in land transactions, and that the slowdown has been coming in the latter part of last year. I say it's not down 10%. The growth is down by 10%. So we had something like a $22 million above budget for the first 6 months of the year. That amount is now down to like $15-17 million growth. And that has all come at the end, in the last 6 months of the year. So you are seeing the numbers of applications and the fees from those now, and even land transactions that are it seems to be a slowdown. Whether that will continue to transpire into 2023 remains to be seen. But my sense and what I'm hearing is that yes, it is.
Yes. Okay.
The larger impact of this, Ralph, such a significant office being vacated within a couple of weeks of the strategic policy statement. So there you have the person that was heading up the development of the government strategic policy statement, vacating office just a couple of weeks before it's been presented in the midst of the budget. We hear it daily from our people. We have been banging on the desk. We have been calling on the government to do something about the ability for Caymanians to own a home. We've made proposal after proposal. We've brought motions to the House that were passed unanimously to lower stamp, to increase the subsidies for first-time Caymanian buyers and to lower stamp duty for all Caymanians purchasing homes, and an array of other programs to assist Caymanians in owning property or owning their own home. We've been banging on the door about the issues with traffic and what are they going to do? We've been sitting for 2 years now talking about it. Let us see some action. How are we going to reduce the amount of vehicles on the road? We cannot build our way out of this problem. And 2 years later, we see off-reg moving to Minister J.E. Banks' ministry. We see transport moving from the Honorable Kenneth Bryan to Honorable J.E. Banks' ministry. And then now we have the Minister of Sustainability and the Premier. The Premier job on its own is a big enough job, but he also has a huge ministry under him in the Ministry of Sustainability. And now he's taken on the next largest ministry, and that being the Ministry of Finance. And, it concerns us that they are now in a situation where they're almost restarting on these major, major areas of concern 2 years into their office.
Yes. So Mr. Roy, you were the former Minister of Finance, and now you're the leader of the government, of the opposition. And with experience in your role, how does it seem? What is the confidence level in the civil servants who perform the role in the finance department? Because my understanding is that we have a very strong team working in that ministry, and that they're capable of continuing the work under a different minister. Yeah. Is that a possibility? Is that true?
I think you're spot on, and that would be my assessment as well with regard to the team there in the Ministry of Finance. I have full regard and total respect for them and for the work that they do, and I know that they will give the Premier the proper advice with regard to the work that he will need and the decisions he will need to make as Minister of Finance. But as with any of these things, Ralph, it's whether the minister decides to accept that advice and act on that advice. That is the overriding and overriding events really that need to take place, is to accept and act on that advice. So I think they're in very capable hands, and he will always get the right advice from the ministry.
Well, like we always say, time will tell.
Yes.
Well, time will tell very soon, because 2 years is not far from now. And tell me about your plans for the next election. As they say, you're the government in waiting, And
Yeah.
I'm sure you're probably warming your engines right now or changing the oils or whatever's happening.
That
Give me
would
some idea what's happening with the progressives.
we're always gearing ourselves up and thinking forwards and towards the next election. I mean, that work started from the time we couldn't form this last government, and so we continue to we are continuing and are speaking to individuals about potentially joining the progressives and making a run for public office with us in 2025. Our plan is, I mean, ultimately, I would love to be able to contest every seat in the next election. That is truly my ultimate goal, to see that happen. But I will be truly satisfied as well if we can attract and contest at least 15 of those seats. I don't want to go into election with less than that. So those are sort of the parameters upon which I'm looking, and that we and the progressives are looking at. We continue to work on and try to identify what are the relevant issues that we believe are in utmost in the minds of the people. We continue, as you know, Ralph, to hammer on the whole issue of regen, and as we in the run up to elections, depending on what progress the Premier truly makes, that is going to be a feature for the next election. If we get down to an election, it's still not finished, we're in trouble when it comes to solid waste and the disposal of it. We also, other topics that we know are of keen interest too are, the whole idea of an updated or a new development plan. And to me, Ralph, so much of the issues we are talking about today, such as preservation of the mangroves and, the growth of the country, that we could deal with quite easily through an updated development plan. But again, Premier's acknowledged he's not going to get it done in this term. And he said at the very beginning they were going to do it. So again, it's another one of those things, we're just kicking that can down the road, and we will just continue to languish and for things to just continue to meander along as they are in terms of development without any real focus on things like where do we want to develop and how do we want to develop. So that's another issue. Cost of living. Oh my goodness. That still is as important as it was, last year and as well. And it's just something that we have not really come to grips with. And I don't believe that we've done sufficient to help our people through what they are going. I mean, the horror stories I hear with the increases in interest rates and how much people's mortgages are now having been increased and how much deeper they're having to dig into their pockets because of increased payments demanded by the banks it's incredible. So that they are suffering, and we continue to see it as members of Parliament because people are coming to us and asking for help. It's daily. It's multiple times a day that we're getting calls, text messages, and visits to the office. And then, there's so many other things that we can talk about. I mean, we have some major issues looming as a country, an aging population. And what is that going to mean for our people? Who are they going to be prepared for retirement? So pensions is an issue. Healthcare is an issue. That whole lump it up together, an aging population, it's coming, and it's coming very quickly. And it's going to be something we have to address here. I don't see much movement at this point in trying to deal with it. So I've said enough. I'll give my colleague Joey an opportunity to add his bit to it.
Yeah, no, thank you. I agree with the leader there, and as you know, we are there's a lot happening in the background, and as we continue to strategize and plan for the upcoming elections, and we don't know whether that's going to be in 2025 or earlier, but we'll be ready either way. It's we are looking forward to having our conference coming up. Last year we spent a lot of energy and time celebrating the anniversary of the party. This year now we'll get further down into the business of the party, starting with our annual conference that we'll be hosting soon. And I think people will start to get an indication at that point where we're heading as a party. But as the leader said, we continue to monitor these situations. We continue to urge the government to prepare, to let the country know what they're going to do about things such as the cost of living, such as the traffic problems that we're facing right now, things such as home insurances that are on the rise, interest rates and mortgages on the rise. How are people going to cope with these things? If you look over the press in the last few weeks, and everybody is sort of, indecisive. You got one half saying, "Oh, there's not going to be a recession." Another one say it's a super recession. You don't know what's. But what we do know is that something is going to happen, and what we have to do, like anything else, like a hurricane. We're on the verge of hurricane season. What do you do if there's an oncoming hurricane? You prepare for the worst, and you pray for the best. And I think that's the approach that the government needs to take about the possibility of a major recession, with an increase in interest rates, increase in home payments, increase in life insurance, increase in property insurances, increase on cost of goods on the supermarket shelves. We see the United Kingdom's government putting programs in place to assist people. We see the United States putting programs in place to assist people. We have not heard one word from our government about what they are planning to do and how are they going to help our people when or if this recession hits. And like I said, we have to prepare for it. We can pray and we can hope and we can celebrate when it doesn't happen, but we do have to prepare for it if it does. And I don't think that the government and the recent resignation of the Minister of Finance really concerns me, that perhaps the government is even further behind than we thought on these matters.
Okay. Mr. Roy,
Yes, sir.
What is the role of the opposition? Could you explain for me in a couple of words? What's the role of opposition?
Keep the government of the day honest and in check, and to challenge them on their policies, and to present an alternative to what the government is striving to do and to accomplish. And so, Ralph, we spend a lot of time looking at their policies and asking ourselves and debating amongst ourselves, is there a better way? Is there a cheaper way? And so, yes, we do watch all these things, not just the policy. We monitor the finances and, try to draw attention to the public of some of the issues we see with their spending plans. And, we try to alert them as well with what we publish as to what we see dangers are with what they are considering. The perfect example you have was the situation last year when they came out and were talking about going and into the market to borrow money, and also that we thought was such crazy idea, given that you're in a rising interest rate environment. It's the wrong time to be doing it. So happily they abandoned that, and you have the other issues that they at the time were trying to do to bring reverse mortgages into play, and seemed to be quite rushing to it. And we spoke about that as well. So a whole range of issues, but the whole idea really is just to keep the government honest and keep them in check.
Yeah. And to take it even further, Ralph, I alluded to these earlier. We gave the government 6, 7, 8, 9 months, settle in. We spoke at their first SPS about, some of the things that we started and that we had put in place that are there for them. Low-hanging fruit, we call that. Plan Cayman, the National Development Plan, such an important document for the country. And as the leader said earlier, the foundation of all of these issues that we're having now, that could have very well been on its way, if not completed by now. The issues, the report on the traffic not traffic calming measures, but the report we did on reducing the amount of vehicles on the road, including buses for private schools, restriction on the age of vehicles being imported, et cetera, et cetera. You know, once we saw no action in these things, we actually came forward and brought motions to say, we're supporting this. Here you go. We support this. All you need to do is do it. You know, when we saw nothing happening with affordable housing, we can't build a house for every person that needs housing. Government can't build every house. They have to become more creative. And we have to find other ways for persons to enter into the housing market. And so we brought a private member's motion with several ideas on there. Again, these were just, they were accepted, passed unanimously, but then just, you know, kicked to the curb. And 2 years later, we still haven't seen anything. So, you know, we don't want to be in opposition for opposition's sake. We would much rather be an opposition that would be working with a government that are doing things and then offering our perspectives and offering our support, offering, you know, whatever technical ability we can offer them. But as the leader says, we continue to meet as a caucus, as a unified opposition. And quite frankly, you know, if wanted to, we could step right in and continue to work as a country if we needed to. But we are standing steady, and we are ready, and we will be ready when the time comes to take over the country.
Thank you, Mr. Joy. I really appreciate that. And folks, we've come to the end of our short conversation. I wish we could spend a lot more time, but I'm mindful of our tight schedules. But I'd like to invite you again back, maybe on a weekly basis or bi-weekly basis when you do have the time to discuss a lot of these topics. But we touched on a number of them, and I would have liked to delve more in depth of some of those topics, because there are people listening to what you were saying, and they probably need some more information on some of those real topics, or maybe the ideas that you have. And I have two questions before I say goodbye. The first one is, what do you think the role of media is in the country? Mr. Roy or Mr. Joy,
Well,
anyone
I
can
think
answer that?
if you play an absolutely vital role in dissemination of information in the country. But I think, Ralph, what we see right now with media is that it is in an evolving state right now, and it is not the unified and you know, or way that it was. I mean, that it used to be, and I find it is very difficult now to get you know, to get messages out there, because there's so many channels there that are available, and the media, it seems to me, is kind of split. And so I think the difficulty you face now is responding to that and to the lay of the land, as we would say in the media right now. And it's, you know, you have to have social media presence, you got to have television, you got to have radio, you have to have, you know, the newspaper. It's become more challenging to get messages out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mr. Joy?
I think, I think the media should play a huge role, a tremendous role as a outlet, a bipartisan outlet of information for the people of the country. You know, people shouldn't have to just listen to the government. They shouldn't have to just listen to the opposition. The people of the country deserve outlets that will provide them with perspective from either side and allow people to educate themselves and come away with their own conclusions. And I say responsible media is certainly a huge part of democracy, but I am concerned about the lack of responsibility that we see in certain media outlets these days, which are doing the exact opposite and are almost bullying people into one opinion or the other, and certainly not being bipartisan. And in some instances, outside of politics even, have been so irresponsible that they've caused panic and they've caused harm to individuals. And that is a danger of not being a responsible media. And, you know, it's, as the leader said, it's just very difficult these days to keep up with everything. But persons like yourself, Ralph, and persons who have been in the industry for quite a while and who have shown integrity and have shown ability to be bipartisan and to be responsible for a key part of our democracy.
And being in the media myself, I have concerns, and we need to do a better job. And when I'm saying we, because I'm part of that institution that's called media, and I can't sort of separate myself from it. I have a responsibility, and my goal is to work with everyone who wants to work with us to make sure that we can be the best media that they could be. My colleagues in the UK said that they're surprised sometimes when they see what happens in the media in the Cayman Islands. They even say there's a television station, and they're very concerned about how we disseminate information, because we can have a discussion or conversation today, but if that conversation is not reaching on the ears that should hear it, or it's done in such a way that it's not balanced, it can cause damage, and it can impact on the same government that's running the country. And it is so important, and I'm preaching the converted here. The government has a very critical role in our success and our lives. And that's why being in media is so important, to make sure that that little connectivity and that platform is at the best it should be. Well, gentlemen, thank you very much. Any final words?
No, sir. I'm good. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
This has been good conversation.
We'll certainly make an effort to do it more often.
Yeah.
Very well. Thank you very much. And I'll be listening on Wednesday to Parliament.
Good.
Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Interesting.
Have a good one.
Right.
Red light.
Yeah. The sun is up, the sun is up. The sun is up and it's smiling. Another clear blue perfect day.
Paradise.
A warm breeze from the ocean. Warm breeze blows your troubles away.
Next to Wednesday. Oh yeah.
A walk on the white sandy beaches. A call from the turquoise sea. You know you're right where you're meant to be.
Taste buds ready, because Taste of Cayman is back. Join us May 13th at Festival Green, Camana Bay. Eat, drink, and dance the night away. Taste of Cayman offers the very best of Cayman's food and drink scene, with plenty of music to keep the party going. Get your festival tickets online today at tasteofcayman.org or call 623-6700. Brought to you by the Cayman Islands Tourism Association and sponsored by AI Rentals, Camana Bay, DMS Broadcasting, and numerous valued partners.
Good afternoon and welcome back to Cayman Conversations. Had a wonderful time with the opposition, but now I'm so warmed up I have to go to Taste of Cayman. And to talk about Taste of Cayman, I want to say good afternoon to Jay and Natalie. Hi folks, how are you doing?
Good, Ralph.
Good. How are you?
Okay, I'm doing wonderful. Well, Taste of Cayman, with all that's happening and that's going to happen, you got to tell me some more about this event. I remember going down to that field beside the Ritz and having a wonderful evening. It was really good, and I'm understanding it's now turned up many notches, and after missing a couple of years, it's come back with a bang. Jay, tell us what's going to happen.
Ralph, it's a proper opportunity to talk about Taste of Cayman during lunchtime. I got to tell you, it's always good. You know, you're right. I remember those days when I volunteered back at that field right next to the Ritz-Carlton, and then it moved to the port for a couple of years. Then it moved to Cayman Bay Center, and now it's been on Festival of the Green for the last few times it's been held. But it hasn't happened since 2019 because of COVID, obviously, the restrictions on the number of people allowed to gather and things like that. So we know this year it's going to be back and bigger than ever. We're still going to have all your favorite things that are taking place in there, like the All Things Cayman and the cook-off event and the heavy cake competition and all of those fantastic things. But we've made it a little better this year. Well, a lot better, I would say. That they're going to use wristbands this year instead of having tokens. So you can have a top up on your phone that you could just top up your wristband and tap, and then it's going to be quicker and faster and easier to get food, get drinks, and use the experience room. everything like that should be a lot quicker and easier. And if you don't want to use your phone, we're going to have cash booths there, so you can go there and just tap up your wristband right then and there. So it's going to be a lot easier, quicker, and more accessible for our guests.
Thank you. And Natalie, welcome to our show. It's the first time you're here. And tell us, what's your role in Taste of Cayman?
I'm one of the event coordinators, so I work with our events team. And actually, for an event like Taste, we often use everyone in our company, from the designers doing custom stuff to our audio team doing the stage plot, the audio plot, everything like that. So it's quite a process for us. But we look forward to it every year. It gives our company a chance to kind of showcase what we can do, as well as we think it's a great event for the island in general. So this year we're really excited for our VIP area that we sponsor. We're lucky enough that the Ritz is catering it, and we get to showcase a lot of our new custom pieces that we've been working on with the team. So everyone can kind of look forward to that. And yeah.
I tell you, we couldn't do without the team at AI Rentals. They're amazing. I know what I've seen the setups that go up. This is my first year as executive director of the CITA for a Taste of Cayman. But like I said, I volunteered for many, and the hard work of the women there and the men and women there do a fantastic job putting up the tents, putting up the soundstage, putting up everything that we need, every possible thing that we need, and it's there. And they think of it that before we do. They're like, we already did that. I'm like, oh, great, we love that.
Well, I remember when AI started out, I was a DJ those days, and it was more sound, but now they sort of fill every corner of entertainment. And from what I've seen at some of the displays and the shows, and I'm sure Taste of Cayman probably will be the cream of the crop. So much things going to happen there, and I'm sure you're going to turn up the notch a bit for us, Natalie, to make sure that it's an experience that no one has seen before, and it's going to be an event that everyone must get into. We can talk more of the different features and attractions, but give us a history about Taste of Cayman. Jay, if you may.
The history of it. Oh, wow. It started back as a chili cook-off by Mike Flowers, God rest his soul, the original owner of Lone Star, well, might have been the original owner of Lone Star. And he had the great idea back before the CIT was even formed. So CIT was formed in 2001. And it was actually funny enough at the behest of your former guest there, Mr. Joey Hugh, when he was chamber president back in the day. He was like, look, we've got a restaurant association, we've got a hotel condo association, we've got all these other associations. Why don't we just combine it and make one big association, call it the Cayman Islands Tourism Association, and move forward? And it worked out fantastically, obviously, as the 23 years can attest to. So Mike got it started way back in the day with an actual chili cook-off, then it expanded to the Taste, and it's just gotten bigger and better every single year. This year, we're going to have over 30 different restaurants and vendor booths. We're going to have the 7 Fathoms Mixology Competition, the Bomb Vivant Chef Cooking Demo, which we're going to have 2 great Caymanian celebrities up there duking it out. It's the Ministry of Youth, Sports, and Cultural Heritage, all things Cayman section, which is it's great for where talented local choirs, bands, crafts. They're all on display to ensure that Cayman's local culture remains the heart of the festival. There'll be local product vendors, artisans, craftsmen, you name it, they're all going to be there. And plus, of course, the heavy cake and Cayman beef competition. Then we have the experience room where revelers can get closer to the culinary and cocktail aspect of it and immerse in their experiences. Check out some really good demos with like one of our visiting chefs that's going to come down and check it out. The AI Reynolds VIP Hospitality Lounge, which we love. The Kids Zone. And see, now this is all stuff Natalie's going to be putting up for, well, not just Natalie, but her and her team. Then we've got the Kids Zone, so we got the CG Brit K photo booth. Then, of course, it's live music. So we're going to have fantastic local artists, plus the headline act, which will be better than what we had in years past, but very similar. And then, of course, fireworks. And then, of course, I mentioned the digital wristbands already. But it really is an amazing, amazing day. And the funny thing is I find it really odd. I was talking to some people the other day. There are people that have never been to Taste Cayman that have been living on the island for 3 years. And it's like, wow, of course you haven't been here. We haven't had it in 3 years. So it's kind of nice to we keep saying it's going to be bigger and better than ever, but it'll be there first. So it'll be a lot of fun.
Okay, yes. Is the main attraction the food or the other things, the music? Is it mainly the food is the main attraction?
So we like to call it Cayman's best party because everybody comes into your backyard and has a nice dish. You know, when you have a party at your
Yes.
house, Ralph, and you get
Yes.
food, and then you start DJing, and then the party really kicks off. So that's what
Yes.
it's just coming in. Let's share some food. Let's have some fun with each other. Let's mingle. Let's talk about things. Oh, and wait, let's go over here and have a good time too. So it's all just Cayman's biggest party. And of course, the great thing is it really showcases the Cayman culinary capital of the Caribbean, because this is a chance where our restaurants get to really showcase what they do right. And if you haven't been to some of these restaurants, it's your chance to go, wow, I haven't been there. I need to go to this place. Or I forgot how good this was at this restaurant. Let me go back to that one and check it out again. So it's a good place for them to showcase their talents and skills.
Yes, and I really appreciate what this does for our local business. As you know, many restaurants really had a tough time coming out of pandemic, and so this is a way they can showcase their talents. And I encourage everyone, because we all eat, to come over to Taste of Cayman and see what Cayman has to offer. So it should be a very good showcase for all our restaurants, and of course, other things, other entertainment. And Natalie, what kind of musical entertainment do we have there? If you can speak.
We have a lot of we have a couple local artists coming in, and they'll perform a bit earlier, and then we'll have one headliner that comes in as the main performance for people.
Right. Okay.
And then also in the as Jay said, in the All Things Cayman area, there'll be a lot of kind of, I think there's like almost like a school orchestra and kind of things like that. We've put artists in the VIP tent in the past, but we're leaning this year towards just kind of making it a continuation of the main stage. So that way, if people don't want to be, front and center at the stage and they want to experience kind of the VIP tent, then they'll still have access to the same music that everyone else is hearing.
Great. So what's the layout going to be like? It's going to happen at Cayman Bay and in the green in Cayman Bay. And is there going to be a big tent in the center? Just tell us something about the layout and how it's going to be.
Yeah, we've definitely adjusted it a few times since, and I'm sure it will be adjusted again. But as of right now, when you come over the bridge, it's kind of like the main entrance for people. And then all around the border is all the vendors, so that people can kind of have some space to walk around. And then you'll have the main stage, I think, just right as you go at the entrance gates. And then we'll have some VIP tents. We'll have some seating areas. We'll have the All Things Cayman tent. But yeah, mainly the vendors all along the outside. Everything is nicely laid out. But sure, as I said, this will most likely change again before the 13th. But
I think that's pretty much going to be it, actually. So when if I'm correct, as you come into the left, will be the main stage. So when you're in Cayman Bay looking over at Festival Green, you'll see the back end of the main stage. Is that about right?
Okay.
Yeah, that's correct.
So all the music's going to go out to the North Sound and away from the people that are living now in Cayman Bay. So we're going to project towards the water in the North Sound more than projecting towards Cayman Bay. So it should be a very nice experience.
What numbers are you expecting? 2,000, 3,000, 4,000?
Well, no, every year it's been 5,000 people that come to Taste of Cayman, and it's a really great opportunity because, as I said, Rob, it's a great family opportunity. People come from the food. The families come for the food, and then other people come a little later, have some food, and then stay for the dancing and dining.
Yes.
So it really is. It won't be like 5,000 people there all at once. We'll get a few thousand at the beginning, and then some of those people will leave, and a few more thousand will show up. And I really think we're going to hit our max number. I guarantee it.
And the weather seems to be holding up these days. It's wonderful. And if we get any blessings or sprinkles, do you have tents that I can go in and get cover from?
Yeah,
that's
just another reason to buy VIP.
Okay, great.
Just another one.
Yes, Natalie?
No, just agreeing with Jay.
Okay.
Good to buy
I heard you talking with the members of the opposition just moments ago that the cost of living in the Cayman Islands has increased tremendously. And for us to only be charging $60 general admission for one of the most fabulous parties in the Cayman Islands, the Taste of Cayman, it's really amazing. And we made a very conscious decision. We did not increase the children's price at all from 2019, and that's still $20. We realize how difficult it is in the Cayman Islands right now with the cost of gas, the cost of CUC, the cost of water, all of the interest rates rising. You name it. It's not an easy time. So we know your money is important to you, and we want you to spend it wisely. So that's why $60 general admission, $20 for kids, and then the VIP. It's worth it though. It's $225, and children VIP is only $50. But you get, VIP complimentary parking. You get welcome canopies when you arrive. You get a welcome cocktail. It's hosted by St. Jude at the Ritz-Carlton. You get priority, like I said, express entry, VIP bathrooms. You also get experience in the experience room. And then you've got a special spot where you get a better main stage viewing for the band afterwards. So it's really worth it. It's a great deal.
It's like a business class seat on Cayman Airways. You pay a little more, and you get royalty, but for not much more.
Exactly.
I know there are many people who have asked for time off from their jobs to visit Taste of Cayman because they're so excited. You've done a great job at promoting with all your sponsors and supporters, supporting the event. And I said, with this show, I had to come on and give an opportunity to reach our listeners as well, because it is such an important event in the Cayman Islands. And by the way, we're becoming the party capital of the Caribbean. We are having so many carnivals.
True.
Now we're having a big food event, which is so good. I just like this idea. So if I was to come, and I don't have a very large capacity for eating, for $60, if I paid the $60, I can eat all night. It's all I can eat.
Well, you with your $60, you get so many drink and food tickets uploaded onto your wristband.
Yes.
So I think it's 12 food and drink tickets for the general admission, and for children, it's 5 food and drink tickets.
Right.
And that will vary depending upon where you go. So it might be 1 drink ticket or 1 food ticket for this meal. It might be 2 or 3 food tickets for this meal. So it'll vary quite a bit. But like I said, we'll have an opportunity for you to upgrade your and increase your tickets on your wristband, and you'll be able to do that. So yeah, you'll be able to eat all night. There's like I said, over 30 different restaurants and vendors out there. It'll be a really good evening. For VIP, you get 25 food and drink tickets on your wristband as well to start out. Just FYI. But it's also whatever you want to eat, Ralph. That's what it's all about. You're gonna get a little plate, I guess, like that, and there's gonna be enough on there, and you try it, and it's a taste, and hence Taste of Cayman.
Okay, well, I'm starting my diet from now, so
I'll
be able to put on a couple extra pounds after that for that event, because but I think I'm very looking forward to it as well. Bon Vivant has a demo stage and visiting chefs. Can you tell us about that? I'm so excited about that.
Well, this is really great. We've had a great opportunity to get one of our sponsors, and I haven't even mentioned all of our sponsors yet, but the Cayman Islands Department of Tourism has partnered with us, and they realized the importance of what we showcase here as the culinary capital of the Caribbean, and we couldn't be happier to have them on board with us. And they're assisting us in bringing down these chefs. So Chef Trey Sanderson is the Food Network's Canada's top chef. He was down here. They filmed a couple episodes, and he fell in love with the place. He's got some Jamaican heritage, but he's actually Canadian, and he's really excited to come down here and do a lot of different things, do some demos, and have a really good time. Another friend of the destination is Jeff Morrow. He's the Food Network's Sandwich King host, and he and Luigi Moxham go way back from Kenya Cabana. So we're excited to have both of these guys down here. They both bring their own star power, and we're definitely going to have an opportunity for in the Bon Vivant cook-off stage, we're going to have Chef Trey Sanderson go up against another Canadian Food Network star, and that's Dylan Benoit, who owns Carnivore. So it should be a really good Canadian head-to-head chef-off, if I can call it that, during the event. So you get to see these two guys have fun and see who comes up with the best dish on that thing. And then Jeff Morrow will have an event with inside our experience room. So that'll be a lot of fun as well. But they're going to have a really good time. And I think we're going to expand on it next year. We're going to bring some more chefs. We're going to make it Cayman Cookout Light. We're not going to bring those 5-star Michelin star chefs. We're going to bring the fun guys that you and I can afford to go and eat at restaurants like this. Wow.
Okay. Jay, who comes up with all these ideas?
Well,
Do you have a great team around you, or who creates all these ideas? It's amazing.
It is helpful. I mean, the team at Tower Marketing are fantastic. It's great. And like I said, this is my first one, and I'm trying to make it bigger and better. And having the experience of working with the Department of Tourism and working at the Department of Tourism, and then working in the Cayman Islands for the last 30 years and experiencing with Tasty Cayman, we threw a couple ideas together. Some of my ideas did not stick, but it did work, And Tower is a great team to throw ideas with and have big powwow meetings with. So they're really great about, no, Jay, we can't do that. No. Let's temper it down a little. Okay, great. Let's do it this way. So they're great.
Okay, good stuff. Well, Natalie, we're going to switch to you right now. As a senior citizen myself, I mean, that's what I am. I want to go, but I don't have all the energies to walk all around. And I like the name of the VIP Hospitality Lounge. So I'm aiming to reserve a spot in that. Can you give me some more information about this VIP Hospitality Lounge? I think many of my friends and colleagues may be very interested.
Yeah, for sure. Like Jay said, there's the caterers from the Ritz there. We'll have the entertainment linked to it, so you can see. We often do a big tent, and we have an outdoor area and an indoor area. So the indoor area is AC'd, and we have a main bar in there so that you have your own kind of access to a bar. And then we kind of, decorate it out in stuff that we want to showcase. So we've recently just built a whole custom line of, disco ball and mirror tile pieces. Don't want to give it all away, but we're trying to kind of achieve a jungle nightclub sort of vibe.
Okay.
And I think it's going to be pretty amazing. We're going to have a couple, photo op experiences for people so that they can capture moments, kind of make it interactive. We're going to decorate it all with a lot of stuff. A team member is bringing down a lot of, artificial ivy so we can decorate. And then we often do an outside area with canopies and globe lights so that people can kind of be inside or outside as they please. So we try and make it as enjoyable as possible and unique as possible. So hopefully people like our design this year.
Okay, great. That sounds so exciting. Jay, I'm already sold on this.
I'm hungry. I don't know about you.
I gotta bring my friends. This should not only be one day; it should be 2 or 3 days, man. This sounds like it's so much activity to do.
It's a lot to put on.
You must have a lot of sponsors and supporters. Can you tell us about them?
We do, and thanks to AI Rentals. I mean, they've been a fantastic partner throughout the years, and they've been fantastic. And they jumped at the chance to come back on board this year after a 3-year hiatus. So we're very thankful for their participation. Cayman Bay again said, of course, the Festival Green is your home for Tasty Cayman. We're already talking for next year and the date we want, so we're already good there. And this year, DMS Broadcasting has really stepped up. I'm really pleased to be partners with them. They're our radio sponsor, and they're doing a great job. You're here on Bobo FM right now, so it's a great thing, and part of the DMS Broadcasting House, as well as the Ministry of Investment, Innovation, and Special Development. They've been fantastic. The Ministry of Youth, Sports, Culture, and Heritage, St. June at the Ritz-Carlton, Grand Cayman, Cayman Mall Road, Logic, Tower Marketing, and of course the Cayman Islands Department of Tourism. Couldn't have done it without them.
Yes, and this is an annual event, and
It is.
It is.
Yeah, it is an annual event, but we haven't had it the last 3 years. But we're gonna fix the date for next year, and we're probably gonna announce it soon. But it's one of those things we want to find a permanent date for it and say this is it, because it's been in April, it's been in May, it's been in January. We're going to nail down a permanent date, and that's going to be our weekend every single year moving forward.
Okay, and where can we get tickets?
Hey, that's a great idea. TastyCayman.org is the spot where you really want to go to. They really is your best option for getting the tickets you need. But there's many, many, many other locations. So there's Blackbeard's, any one of the Blackbeard's locations, Funky Tangs, any company with a supply in its name, Diver Supply, Sports Supply, Office Supply. I kid. It's just those 3 supply companies. Bob Vivant has some tickets available. Tower Marketing at the Fidelity Financial Building at the Galleria Roundabout. They sell them there. And of course, Event Pros, you can get some there through that as well. But tasteofcayman.org is the one place, the one shop to go and find out everything you need about the Taste of Cayman 2023.
Okay. If I didn't get my ticket on time, can I go to the gate at Cayman Bay and pay?
I think we're trying to prevent that from happening, but I think we'll let you do it.
Okay. And just in case, I forgot, or one of my friends forgot and wanted to come,
We'll
and
work
they
something
just
out for you. We'll make it happen. Yeah, of course we will. We'll take everybody's money.
Oh, well, Jay,
We actually prefer you purchase in advance because of the wristbands this year. It's going to be a lot easier. We're going to have a pickup area a couple of days beforehand so that you can go pick up all your wristbands, and that way you know how to upload the wristband, download the app on your phone, and do all those things.
Yes.
So, and we'll have volunteers there to show you how to use the wristband and how to upload to it and all the things. I can't say enough again about our volunteers that are at the event, because there's going to be guys holding signs that say, "How can I help you?" Kind of like when you go to the airport now. It's like, I'm your friend. How can I help you?
Yes.
It'll be the same kind of thing. So if you're looking for a specific restaurant, they'll be able to guide you in that right direction. If you're a VIP member, they'll show you which way to go to VIP. They'll help you out.
Okay. So that's about 2 weeks from now, or 2 or 3 weeks. It's
just 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
13th of May. That's about 3 Saturdays from now.
13th of May.
I like that. 13th of May. So everybody needs to write this down in the diary. This is very great. I'm just so excited about this. It's definitely something that has to happen and has to be there. And coming back after 2 or 3 years is really, really going to be
Natalie,
a reminder and a
do
memory.
you get to enjoy Taste of Cayman? Do you actually get to go and have some drinks and have some food, or are you still just doing setup all day?
No, luckily, Festival Green, and you guys are good at, we have quite a time period to get in. We have all week beforehand where we take about 5 to 6 trucks a day back and forth setting up. So by the time Taste actually comes around, usually we get to relax during it, and then the second it ends, then we go to breakdown, and then we have everyone back. And but
you're going to be off the green by like Sunday at like 10 a.m. or something like that. It's something crazy, right?
Yeah.
It's something ridiculous. So they work all through the night to tear it down, and it's again, I can't thank AI Rentals for the work that they do enough. They're fantastic.
Yeah. And so, about how many members of your crew are there?
Our events warehouse is about 23 full-time employees. So they're amazing. They know their job in and out. And then luckily we have a few other resources that we can pull from in case we need extra hands. But usually our guys are good. They're pretty quick. They know their trade, so they usually get the job done.
Yes, and I know some of them personally. I've been working with some of them a long time. I know Shem is a good friend of mine. And he's going to be there with his little iPad controlling the music, making sure that everything works well. And I really appreciate how your company really comes together and makes it happen. And I don't know if I worked with you before, but I can see the thought that goes into it, the ideas that you get with Jay and his team, and make it happen and put your personal touch. So I encourage everyone to come on out, because you're going to see not only Taste of Cayman restaurants, you're going to see a master at work making things happen. And that's so key, because Jay will tell you, without somebody like AI being in the background putting things together, it will never happen. And that's so key. So thank you very much for being there for them. And I look forward to come and see your kind work, your great work. Jay, just about ready to wrap up. Any final words for our listeners?
It's always a pleasure to see you, my friend. I haven't seen you in a while in person. It seems like I always catch you on those press briefings and things like that. So it's always nice to see you again. But just tasteofcayman.org is the one-stop shop to find out everything you need to know about Taste of Cayman this year. We're only 2 weeks away, but ticket sales are going great. We're well organized. We're well ahead of the game. We're really going to have one of the best food festivals in the Cayman Islands ever.
Well, thank you very much, Jeff, for joining us. And thank you, Natalie. And hopefully, maybe if we have a few minutes to stop in, if there are any major changes or improvements or upgrades that you want to get across, just let me know. I'll be happy to, log on and get you here, on Cayman Conversations. Thank you very much for coming on Cayman Conversations today, Jay. We'll see you at Taste of Cayman. Well, folks, we want to thank you for joining us today. It's been a pleasure to have our guests on board, the opposition members here, as well as Jay and Natalie, who updated us on what's happening coming very soon with Taste of Cayman. Thank you for joining Cayman Conversations as we seek to elevate the level of media conversations with special guests from all walks of life. The 90-minute show will also feature music at times from our local artists. We believe the members of Parliament play a critical role in the future and success of the Cayman Islands, and so we have dedicated our Cayman Conversations for tomorrow to the Parliament proceedings. We encourage our listeners and viewers to listen to what our members of Parliament have to say. Remember to like, share, and follow Caymanian Times social media pages, and also pick up copies of the newspaper on Wednesdays and Fridays at locations across the islands. Cayman Conversations is a production of the Cayman Times newspaper, and we do accept employment advertising. You can submit your ads by visiting our website, selecting employment ads, and uploading your request. Have a great evening, everybody, and now enjoy the rest of your day.